This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5, slow and dangerous. A state of emergency now in effect for parts of the East Coast as they wait and watch for Hurricane Dorian.
The storm's winds have died down ever so slightly as it's tracked virtually stalled in the Atlantic on Monday, lashing the Bahamas and other areas with heavy rain and dangerously high winds. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. If there's any good news, it's that Dorian's intensity weakened ever so slightly overnight, but it's still a destructive storm, and that means a lot of people up and down the East Coast are trying desperately to get out of harm's way.
The hurricane has already left at least 5 people dead in the Bahamas after rain virtually flooded all of its islands. Now, people who live in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas are either getting ready to ride out the storm or get out of harm's way. ABC's Serena Marshall is live this morning in New Smyrna Beach along the Florida coast.
Waiting to respond to this storm. Officials, seeing what it can do, don't want to take any chances.
For more than 24 hours straight, Hurricane Dorian battering the Bahamas. 13,000 homes in the Bahamas estimated to have been destroyed.
Lenny's house. Used to be Lenny's house. What's left of it.
Floodwaters devouring the homes that weren't washed away. Already, at least 5 deaths are blamed on the storm, including this woman's grandson.
Did they say how he died?
I think they say he's drowned. We are in the midst of a historic tragedy in parts of northern Bahamas. Our mission and focus now is search, rescue, and recovery.
Our ABC News team riding out the storm in Marsh Harbor.
Swim! Swim! Swim!
Helping lead these people to safety. Stranded during the eye, the storm now creeping towards the Florida coastline. Officials ordering mandatory evacuations from Florida to North Carolina. Roughly 2 million people.
Mandatory evacuation is now in place.
In some cases, going door to door. This entire highway moving now away from the coast. But not everyone is heeding the warning. This man heading into the waters in Palm Beach. For others, not taking any chances.
The anticipation of it is nerve-wracking. Flooding remains a major concern. Forecasters are saying some areas can get up to 15 inches of rain, and that storm surge reaching up to 7 feet. Live in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, Serena Marshall, ABC News. Now back to you.
Serena, thank you so much. We do want to talk about our weather back here at home. Luckily, we're not getting any of the effects of Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah, we are going to see some rain, though, later tonight.
Yeah, there's a cold front coming through. Nothing to do with Dorian. Yeah, that storm system not going to impact us one way or the other, so that is good news for us. And we'll continue to monitor things for you down there in Florida, as I know many of you people travel down there. You have friends, you have family that live down there and such. But thankfully, it looks like the center of that storm system is going to stay offshore. So what do you need to grab before you go? Grab the sunglasses today. You'll need them from start to finish, obviously, once the sun comes up, which is a little after 7 o'clock. And some of you may need the light jacket here this morning with temperatures that are in the 50s and 60s. But you will not need the jacket later on this afternoon. You'll be trading those in for short sleeves and shorts, because we're going into the 80s later on this afternoon. Meredith mentioned the chance of rain. There's a front off to our west, and that is going to drop down later tonight, closer to sunset and then beyond. Although a few showers from that cluster of storms you see there in Michigan may sneak into northern portions of the area. That's what we'll keep an eye on for you. Cool spot, Crawfordsville, 57, 64 in Indy. Here's your temperature trend throughout the day today with plenty of sunshine. Highs will eventually be up into the mid-80s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at our Traffic Now map. The good news, no crashes to report around the metro area. If you're heading southbound this morning from the northwest side, it's a 17-minute commute from I-865 there in the Dog Leg to I-70 at the North Split. Traffic there is traveling up to speed, and let's take a live look right now at the North Split from our NDOT traffic camera. You can see some headlights out that way already this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on any trouble spots for your Tuesday, and we will keep you updated.
Breaking overnight, police are on the scene of a shooting investigation on the northeast side. The gunfire was reported just before 3 o'clock this morning near Hovey Street and East 33rd. We are told at least 2 people suffered gunshot wounds, but that's all we know so far. We are still working to get more information, and we will have more for you as soon as it comes into our newsroom.
The search for a missing 10-year-old girl in northern Indiana continues this morning. Skylee Carmack was last seen around Saturday afternoon on South D Street. Dozens of volunteers have gone door to door passing out flyers with Skylee's picture, asking for any information. Her father says his daughter disappeared without a trace.
We haven't been able to find any tracks, none of her belongings laid around anywhere. So right now we're just really in a panic because we can't find anything.
Skylee is 5 feet tall, weighs around 100 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Police say that she was last seen wearing a black shirt with Super Mario Brothers characters Mario and Luigi on it with black pants. If you have any information, please call police at the number on your screen. That's 765-674-2278. Well, after months of anticipation, the Red Line is operating now across Indianapolis.
The Rapid Transit bus line opened for passengers on Sunday, and today there's a celebration of the project happening at the State House. That is where we find our Alyssa Donovan live this morning. Alyssa, this bus line is meant to improve travel times across the entire city.
That's right, Meredith. So that bus is going to be running 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, with buses arriving at the stops every 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the day. Now, the 13-mile runs from Broad Ripple to University of Indianapolis. Riders lined up to hop on the Red Line both Sunday and Monday as it just got started. The goal of the Rapid Transit system is to improve convenience, frequency, and reliability. Several local routes will now feed into the Red Line. A lot of people were excited to use the new transit option. Some have been patiently waiting for what they believe will be a major improvement in the city's public transportation.
One of the Red Line stops is just 3 blocks from my house. So I've been waiting for it for a long time. So far, it's wonderful. Nice and smooth. It's just clean and fabulous and everything I hoped it would be.
Indigo's entire system is free until the 14th of this month, and the Red Line is free the entire month of September. And that public celebration is happening here at the State House on the East Lawn this morning at 8 a.m. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg knows he has to do well in the Iowa caucuses to keep his Democratic presidential campaign alive. Buttigieg and his team are rapidly trying to open a number of new campaign offices in Iowa, looking to take advantage of his previous fundraising numbers. Now, the mayor hopes to turn that into votes before the caucuses happen next February. Right now, polls in Iowa show Buttigieg trailing Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders. More than 17 million people were predicted to hop on a flight over Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and students down in Greenwood are working to be those pilots that you'll meet when you step on board. Our own Aaron Lish is joining us live this morning from the Indianapolis International Airport. Aaron, there's a need for more people in the aviation industry.
Yeah, that's the thing. Data is showing over the next 20 years that air travel is going to double worldwide. So that means, of course, there are going to be some more pilots needed out there. So at Central 9 Career Center in Greenwood, they have the Flight and Operations program, and it really focuses on laying that groundwork for careers in aviation. They learn about aviation technology, an overview of the industry, what the current environment is like right now, and the career opportunities in this field. The instructor, Matt Edwards, really reiterates the real need for more pilots in this field and how this is getting students ready to fill those positions.
There are airlines right now that really are canceling flights because they don't have enough pilots. So it's vitally important to train a lot of pilots, and that pipeline to get them to the career field is pretty long. So anytime we can take off that to get them into the pilot seat is that much better.
They will have about a full semester of credits in aviation major if they go ahead and go to college. If they fly extra at the airport, they could be a full year ahead. And of course, many of those students, they want to become pilots, but there are other opportunities like they have the maintenance as well as air traffic control and in managers. So plenty of opportunities in this career with this program. We're going to have a little bit more from those students in the next half hour. Back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. And the U.S. Postal Service is holding a job fair Fair this weekend. It runs from 9 to 2 on Saturday, September 7th at the Greater Indiana District Conference Center on Guyan Road on the northwest side of Indianapolis. Full-time and seasonal positions are available. It is 5:09 on your Tuesday morning. Todd, what can people expect in the weather department?
You know, as you walk out the door here this morning, getting your commute going once again after the holiday weekend. There's a little bit of patchy fog out there this morning. Not as widespread as if you were up early yesterday morning, but I'm sure many of you slept in. 62 degrees, your temperature as you head to work. Coming home, we're looking at a temperature of 85 degrees with mostly sunny skies, and today will be the warmest day that we have in the forecast for the remainder of the week because there is a cold front to our north. We'll have to keep an eye on this cluster of storms here. It should start to weaken, but it may put a little damper on our forecast here in northern communities as we head into the morning hours with some showers. The better chance will be when the actual cold front comes through. And as that front comes through, there will be the risk maybe of some strong to possibly severe storms. The main threat would be damaging wind. I think it's on a real spotty basis, but the Storm Prediction Center does have the northern half of the state under that slight risk for severe weather. The timing again would be this evening closer to sunset and then into the overnight hours. We'll talk more about this storm threat for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, one firefighter called it the worst case scenario. Next on RTV6, crews continue to sift through the remains of a boat destroyed in a devastating fire.
And he was only 5'6", but he was also one of the biggest bodybuilders of his era, and his best friend was a legend. Just ahead, the passing of a man famous for pumping iron.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 5:14 on your Tuesday, and this is a live look at your commute right now on the south side of town, I-65 and I-465. The interchange down there is traveling just fine at this early hour. We'll keep an eye out for any crashes or delays throughout the morning. Well, tragedy continues to unfold in California after a devastating fire on a diving boat.
This morning, we're learning that several bodies have been recovered from the boat near Santa Cruz Island. But as ABC's Kenneth Moten tells us, more than 24 people are still unaccounted for.
This morning, the round-the-clock search for any survivors of a floating inferno.
We will search all the way through the night into the morning, but I think we all should be prepared to move into the worst outcome.
The dive boat with 39 people aboard anchored yards from shore erupted in flames just after 3 a.m. Monday. I can't breathe. 5 crew members escaped by jumping into the water, but dozens of sleeping passengers were trapped inside the burning boat.
Roger, are they locked inside the boat? Roger, can you get back on board and unlock the boat, unlock the doors so they can get off?
Fireboats arrived at remote Santa Cruz Island, but the conception was too far gone.
Don't put it in the Gulf boat. We're not going to make an attempt with our pumps to put it out. The main objective is to look for victims.
Overnight, we learned 25 bodies have been found, most near the sunken wreckage. 9 are still missing. ABC's Will Carr on the scene.
This is rough, rugged terrain. The hope is that maybe somebody made it onto the island where they could continue to be rescued.
On shore, one of the crew members in obvious pain. And family members arriving not knowing if their loved ones were alive or dead. What caused this incident is still a mystery. Images from before the fire showed just how tight the space was in the passenger's bunk room.
Of all scenarios, to be in a remote location, have a fire that occurs, you couldn't ask for a worse situation.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
We do want to take a turn and get to some breaking news that we have brand new information that's just into the RTV6 newsroom as the investigation continues into a shooting on the city's northeast side. We have learned that a woman and a child were injured in that shooting. This happened just before 3 o'clock this morning near Hovey Street and East 33rd. Police tell us the woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition while the child suffered a graze wound. Officers did not release any information about a possible suspect.
Even as the Bahamas continue to battle massive flooding caused by Hurricane Dorian, famed Washington, D.C. chef Jose Andres and his team are on the island trying to feed those in need. Andres and his charity, World Central Kitchen, made their way to the Bahamas before the storm hit. hit. They set up kitchens in a variety of places to ride out the storm and are now providing sandwiches, hot meals, and water to several locations. Andres became famous last year for his efforts to bring food to Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria left the island without power for months. At 5:17, Todd, you've got a look at where Hurricane Dorian is now.
Yeah, things have not changed since the last hour. Here's your update that came in at 5 a.m. Storm basically stationary 35 miles north of the Fremont on the Grand Bahama Island, and it is going to continue to be a Category 3 storm here, it looks like, for the next few hours with sustained winds at 120 miles per hour. So this is a satellite loop. The brighter the colors, the higher the cloud top, so you can see the eye. Not quite as well defined as it was yesterday, and that's indicating a little bit of weakening as it's down from a Category 5 storm, but still a very, very dangerous storm. The Bahamas under these clouds, and obviously 35 miles, it's still getting hurricane force winds there on the island near Freeport. So still a very, very dangerous situation there. It does look like that storm, though, will stay offshore, at least the center of it for Florida. They will have impacts, though, with rough surf and also some flooding along the coast and also some heavy rain, but they're getting spared a direct hit, which is certainly good news. 60 right now in Greencastle as we come closer to home. 65 in Muncie. 64 is the current temperature in Indianapolis, and today's a beautiful day for us for the most part with mostly sunny skies. It's a warm day for us with temperatures that'll be climbing up into the mid 80s, about 84 to 85 degrees for your high temperature. But as we get into the evening hours, we'll start to bring in the chance of a few isolated storms. So this morning we are clear. There is a cluster of storms, and this may be kind of a little bit of a fly in the ointment here in northern locations, as you could see a little bit of cloud cover, and if these showers hold their strength, that we could have to bring a few spotty showers into northern locales. That's something I'll keep an eye on for you here throughout the remainder of the show. But the better chance of rain will be when the front comes through later on this afternoon, and that's also when we'll run the risk of seeing a few strong to maybe borderline severe storms, and a good chunk of the area is under the slight risk for severe weather. To the south, it's just a marginal risk. But here's the timing of it on TrueCast. You see through 4 p.m. we should be just fine, just increasing clouds. Here comes that front. It's coming through, though, after sunset here in central Indiana, so it should be in a weakening state. If it comes through a little bit quicker while the sun is still up, storms could potentially be a little bit stronger, but a few of these storms will continue into the overnight hours before they start to fade away. And by the time we get to tomorrow morning's commute, the rain is all out of the area, and we will have a completely new air mass in place. Main threat would be some wind. There could be some isolated hail, an isolated tornado. Not completely out of the question, but that would be probably extreme northern Indiana. And again, while the sun is up, I think once the sun sets, we will see a better stretch of weather. And then as we work our way throughout Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even into the weekend, mostly sunny skies. Cooler, though, lows in the 50s for the most part, and high temperatures that will be in the mid-70s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your commute on the northeast side of town. You can see traffic in this area of I-69 and the I-465 ramps is traveling just fine. No crashes, no delays here, and no construction to slow you down. So that is good news. Let's take a look at some drive times over here on the west side of town. If you're taking I-74 eastbound through Brownsburg from State Road 267 to I-465, it's just a 7-minute drive. No problems here for your morning commute.
Franco and I met on a bodybuilding powerlifting stage in Stuttgart, Germany in 1965 on October 31st. As the most loyal and best and most honest friend I've ever had. Because I have nothing else to do.
They met long before either of them became celebrities, and Franco Columbu and Arnold Schwarzenegger would maintain that friendship to the end. Columbu competed alongside Arnold in the major bodybuilding competitions of the 1970s, and he became famous after appearing alongside Arnold in the documentary Pumping Iron. He also appeared in the first World's Strongest Man competition in 1977. Columbu also helped train Sylvester Stallone and would make an appearance in Rambo before devoting his life to healthy living. News reports out of Italy say Franco Columbu became sick while swimming in a sea near his birthplace of Sardinia, and that he later died at a hospital. He was 78 years old.
Still to come, swine on the run. Up next, how one major town had a major pig problem and how a few trips to the grocery store helped to bring this all to an end. It's 5:21. We'll be right back after the break.
Interest for 24 months on all beds and Sunday.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 525 on your Tuesday. And here's a live look at I-70 on the west side, a little west of Lyndhurst Drive. Traffic here is moving along smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. We'll keep a close eye on your roads.
The town of Orange, Vermont has been going hog wild. About 250 pigs had been causing a ruckus after they escaped from an enclosure. The owner of a farm says he thinks the enclosure was damaged by vandals last month, causing the escape. It took him and others about 3 weeks to track down all of those pigs. And they did so using a technique you might find on a cartoon show. They used a trail of hot dog buns to lure them back. Okay, that'd get me back. Even so, the farm still faces a fine from the town for the cost to public agencies used in dealing with the pigs. That fine stands at almost $82,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, those little piggies are going to go wee, wee, wee all the way to the bank to withdraw that money there.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, goodness. All right, Todd.
I bet that farmer's going to be checking the locks on all his gates and his fence around the property. All right, outside right now, there's a little bit of patchy fog, but overall, it's a really nice day for us. If you do see that fog for your morning commute, it burns off real quick once the sun comes up. And then we're left with mostly sunny skies today, a high of 85. Now, to this evening and then overnight, a cold front comes through. See that one thunderstorm icon I have between today and tomorrow? Most of these storms should be after sunset, but a couple of them could be borderline strong to severe. But a new air mass is in place by this time tomorrow. The storms are out of here by tomorrow morning. And then the rest of the week is great with lots of sunshine and high temperatures in the mid-70s with low temperatures in the mid-50s.
Todd, thanks. It is taking its time moving up the coast, and that means dangerous rainfall for millions of people. The latest on Hurricane Dorian and where it may be heading, that's coming up.
And it officially opened over the weekend, but the Red Line gets its first major test today as people head back to work after Labor Day. Just ahead, we'll hear from the head of Indigo on how they're getting ready.
Only on RTV6 News.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
When it comes to landing your next job, the sky really is the limit. This morning, how high school students in one program are being prepared to launch a career in aviation.
Plus, Indigo's new Red Line service will be put to the test with its first morning rush. We're live this morning with how officials say the service is being used so far. And you see it there. Hurricane Dorian continues to turn just off the Florida coast. This morning, we're taking a look at some of the damage in the Bahamas and breaking down the latest on the storm's path.
Go ahead. Take it away.
Time right now is 5:30. I was going to hand it over to Meredith right now.
Yeah, we want to check in on what our weather will be like here at home today, Todd. A lot of people getting back in the swing of things after a nice long holiday weekend.
Yeah, you know, and the weather is going to cooperate for the most part. There's one little speed bump in our forecast later on this evening into the overnight hours, but the daytime hours today should be just fine. You saw that picture behind Meredith and Lauren there looking to the north. Visibility not an issue in downtown Indianapolis, but some patchy fog has settled in to parts of the area, down to a half-mile visibility right now in Bloomington, and that's down from just the last hour. A little more fog is settling in towards the Greensburg area as well. So just be a little bit careful on the roadways here this morning, but as soon as the sun comes up, we'll burn that fog off with the clear skies that we do have out there, and it's going to be a sun-filled morning for us. And then we'll turn our attention to the north. There is this complex of storms that's kind of hanging onto its strength here, and this is going to start to make its way through northern Indiana as we go throughout the course of the morning hours. So the further north you are, the better chance you run into storms this morning. Overall, the better chance of storms for everybody will be this evening when the actual cold front comes through. Temperatures right now are in the 50s and 60s. We're looking at highs today that'll eventually top off in the mid-80s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on your roads this morning. Looks like our camera here is frozen at I-65 in Greenwood, but I can tell you everything is moving along smoothly. We're going to look down on the south side for some drive times and show that to you right now on our Traffic Now map. Taking a look here, heading up State Road 37 in the northbound lanes, you can expect just a 15-minute drive from State Road 144 that's down in the Bargersville, Waverly area up to the I-465 ramps. And then over here on I-65 traveling northbound from Southport Road to I-70 at the North Split, that's only going to take you 10 minutes. So everything there is moving along just fine. No crashes to slow you down. Let's take a look here at I-465 and West 21st Street on the west side of town. Traffic is picking up both northbound and southbound, but moving along up to speed.
We are following breaking news this morning from the city's northeast side. A woman and child are in the hospital following a shooting. It happened just before 3 o'clock this morning near East 33rd and Hovey Street. Police tell us that the woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition while the child suffered a graze wound. Officers have not released any information about a possible suspect.
Devastating scenes continue to come in from the Bahamas this morning.
A once Category 5 hurricane, Dorian, churning over the same area for hours. Life-threatening storm surges sweeping across the island nation. Cars and entire homes submerged for more than 24 hours straight. Authorities warning residents they are on their own, telling them to use hammers to break through their attics if necessary as the eye of the storm passed over. One mother pleading for prayers live on Facebook.
Everyone, please pray for us, please. Please, my baby's only 4 months old. Please pray for us. People trying to make it to the other side where this white house is, but some people, the water just took them.
This morning, the death toll in the Bahamas remains at 5. A now weaker Hurricane Dorian is expected to move up the eastern seaboard. And don't forget, you can track Hurricane Dorian's path with the Storm Shield app. Just turn on the Hurricane Tracks layer. It's free and available in your smartphone's marketplace.
At 5:33, the Red Line is open to passengers after months of anticipation. The Rapid Bus Line runs 13 miles all the way from Broad Ripple down to the University of Indianapolis. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, this is expected to improve transportation all across our city.
That's right, and the buses just started running this morning. We're seeing them go by. People are using them for work this morning. Of course, this all launched on a holiday weekend, and I'm here with Lauren Day with Indigo. Tell me, what do you need people to know right now, just as you guys get started?
So today we started service at 5 a.m., and that will be typical during the work week. Labor Day and Sunday, we operated on a holiday schedule, so riders will see double the number of buses on the street today that we had over the weekend. So we're really committed to that 10-minute frequency, making sure the buses aren't too crowded for you to be able to get on and get to work.
And then in addition to that, you guys have some people there that are helping.
Yes, we have over 200 members from the public and also Indigo employees who are volunteering extra time. They're at all of the platforms in blue t-shirts. If you have any questions, you can ask them.
And how is it going so far? I mean, you said there was a lot of people trying to get on this bus this weekend.
On opening day, it was such an exciting day for the city. We had platforms crowded, families, people figuring out what their commute was going to be like to work, older couples taking their grandkids. I think people who haven't ridden transit in a while were experiencing this elevated service that we have in our community now. So for those who have been riding for a while, it's really the best service that we provide in our city right now. We also now run every route every day, so we made that change on Sunday as well. But seeing this weekend so many people come out and support and think about what is the future for our city was pretty exciting.
And then there's also a celebration happening this morning. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's right. Right behind me at the State House lawn from 7:30 to 9, we have a public celebration. So we have music and coffee and then some remarks from elected officials and leadership in the community who really brought this project to fruition. And that all starts about 8 o'clock.
All right. Thanks so much for being here this morning, Lauren. Very exciting for the city, this new transit that's going in, and a lot of people are already using it. You should know that this is going to be free to riders throughout the month of September. So if you're even interested, you have the chance to try it out. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Police are looking for the driver of a hit-and-run vehicle that hit a pedestrian on the northeast side. The crash happened around 9:30 last night near East 30th and Sherman Drive. Police say the man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Metro Police have not yet released any details on the car that left that scene. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers.
At 5:36 today, help will be offered to residents of a mobile home park who were abruptly told to pack up and leave. Residents of the I-70 mobile home park reached out to RTV6 2 weeks ago, saying they weren't given enough notice, answers, or resources. In some cases, the residents needed to move their actual homes, which they own, but they don't own the land beneath them. To help, the mayor's office and some elected officials are holding a resource fair today that will be held at the United Steelworkers Hall on Addison Street from 2 this afternoon until 7 o'clock tonight. Resources like legal clinic services and housing assistance will be available.
Taking to the skies, students in Greenwood are putting in the work to join the aviation industry. Getting classroom to career ready. Our Aaron Lish is live at the Indianapolis International Airport. And Aaron, these students are learning every aspect of flying.
They truly are, from those small single-engine Cessnas to one of the Airbuses behind me. Students are learning all about planes, so one day they can help you get to your destination.
Remember what happens when you get more induced lift?
Students at Central 9 Career Center are laying down the groundwork to become the pilots of the future.
Whenever you're going to turn, whatever you think you're going to do with your hands, you just add a little bit of foot right before you do it.
In the Aviation Flight and Operations program, students will become familiar with aviation tech, the history of the industry, exploring the current aviation environment and careers.
Just flight, being in the air, it seems like it's really relaxing. On top of it, it makes good money.
And as the Indy Airport averages 145 flights a day, instructors say there's a major need for pilots.
There are airlines right now that really are canceling flights because they don't have enough pilots. So it's vitally important to train a lot of pilots, and that pipeline to get them to the career field is pretty long. So anytime we can take off that to get them into the pilot seat is that much better.
They will earn dual credits for the work in this program.
Plane is going to yaw as it's rolling.
Students say they'll also take away skills like problem solving, communication, and situational awareness, which they will use not only in flight, but throughout their lives.
It's not just a career thing. It helps you learn a lot of skills that are useful.
So you have all the pilots in the cockpit. You also have those doing the maintenance work on the planes, even at the air traffic control. This gives these students an opportunity to see all these different careers through this program for the aviation industry. Back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. Well, a Carmel family is suing a major maker of electronic cigarettes. The lawsuit accuses Juul Labs of making e-cigarettes containing excessive amounts of nicotine without a warning that they're addictive. The family filed the federal lawsuit last month here in Indianapolis. Juul says the lawsuit is without merit. It comes as the federal and state health officials investigate a nationwide outbreak of severe lung illnesses linked to vaping.
The city of Indianapolis is giving millions of dollars to help support young people who have nowhere to live. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is awarding $75 million to end youth homelessness in 23 communities across the country. Nearly $4 million will come to the Circle City to help people under the age of 25 who are experiencing homelessness. The money will be used to fund a range of housing programs. At 20 till 6 on your Tuesday morning, Todd is checking in on our weather.
Yeah, as the kids head off to school and you head off to work here this morning, there's a little bit of patchy fog out there that you need to know about. It's not super widespread or super dense, but could be enough to cause a few issues on the roadway, so be aware of that. Otherwise, maybe a light jacket's needed at the bus stop with temperatures that will be in the 60s and even some 50s. And then as the kids come home, 85 degrees with lots of sunshine from start to finish throughout the day today for most of us. The exception for those of you in extreme northern communities, you're going to get into some clouds here this morning. And these showers should continue to weaken, but it's not out of the question. A few locations to the north could deal with some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. The better chance for everybody seeing storms, though, will be this evening with the passage of the cold front. And there's the chance a few of these storms could be strong to severe, so the Storm Shield app, if you looked it up in your app store, you'd see that icon right now. It would alert you to any severe weather once you set your location. But again, it's just this evening that we have the potential for those storms. Otherwise, lots of sunshine today and temperatures in the mid-80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, the search continues this morning for dozens of passengers of a boat that caught fire and sank just off the California coastline. This morning, we're hearing the chilling Mayday call to emergency crews.
And the number of measles cases continues to grow ahead this morning, where police say the majority of the cases are centered. It's 5:41. We'll be right back.
Are you in good hands?
At 5:44, welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This is a live look at I-70 and West Street approaching the downtown area. You can see traffic here is moving along just fine. No major issues for your morning commute.
Chilling there this morning. New information surrounding a deadly boat fire in California. We have learned overnight that 25 people have died and 9 remain missing. 39 people were on board the 75-foot Conception when a fire started on board just before 3 a.m. yesterday morning. The boat was anchored near Santa Cruz Island off the coast of Southern California. 5 crew members were able to escape. The other passengers were below deck, likely trapped once the blaze ignited. Rescue crews faced foggy conditions and intense flames, refusing to go out.
Fire department crews were fighting the fire when the vessel sank 20 yards offshore in 64 feet of water.
Officials are hoping some passengers were able to escape by swimming to shore. A team from the NTSB will investigate the fire. A press conference is scheduled for 10 a.m. local time.
We are working for you with a recall alert this morning. You're going to want to pay special attention if you have a Ford parked in your driveway. The automaker is recalling more than 550,000 trucks and SUVs because the back seats may not properly restrain passengers in a crash. The recall covers 2018 through 2020 F-150 Explorers and Lincoln Aviators. The 2019 and 2020 Super Duty trucks and Ford Expeditions are also included. Ford says it doesn't know of any injuries at this time, and dealers will inspect and replace the seat structures if needed.
The measles outbreak in the United States continues to grow. The CDC reports the number of cases has surpassed 1,200. The measles cases have been confirmed in 31 states. The CDC says most are among people who were not vaccinated against the virus. The CDC says also more than 75% of cases are linked to outbreaks in New York State and New York City. A director at the CDC says there's a reasonable chance the U.S. will lose its measles elimination status in October because of the ongoing outbreaks in New York.
At 5:47, the happiest place on earth is about to be a very lonely place. Disney World will shut its doors early today, and it's all in preparation for Hurricane Dorian. Magic Kingdom and Epcot will close at 3 this afternoon. Disney hotels and resorts will remain open, but Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground will be evacuated. The parks will reopen when it's deemed safe to do so. And let's check in with Todd and see the track of Dorian right now.
You know, Dorian hasn't really moved much in the past 24 hours. In fact, the last update from the National Hurricane Center is it's basically stationary just north of the Bahamas. This is the satellite picture, and you can see the clouds not really impacting Orlando here, but there is a lot of rough surf, and that's going to be the biggest impact for Florida, as well as some coastal flooding. The track is going to make its way starting to the north here, kind of parallel with the Florida coast, and then it kind of turns with the coastline of the United States, maybe just glancing the Outer Banks there as a Category 2 storm as we get into Thursday and eventually into Friday before it scoots out into the Atlantic. But for those of you that have interest in Florida or family in Florida, it looks like the main impact will be, again, beach erosion and the potential for some coastal flooding there along the eastern seaboard. As far as our weather closer to home, one little minor issue we have here this morning is some patchy dense fog that has settled into southern location, Greensburg, over towards Bloomington. The visibility is down to a half a mile. Not as big of an issue as you work your way in and around the metro area. And here's the view from downtown to the north. And you can see that we have decent visibility here in the downtown area. Temperatures are currently in the 50s and 60s, 59 in Kokomo, 60 in Bloomington, 64 in Indianapolis, as well as Martinsville. So throughout the day today, it's really a nice day for us with just some minor issues with the fog this morning and then potentially some storms later on this evening. But in between that threat, we have lots of dry weather and temperatures that will be climbing up to right around 84 degrees for your afternoon highs. So today is the warmest day that we have left in our 7-day planning forecast. Now, there is this cluster of storms to our north that's making its way towards Chicago, and it's probably going to clip northern parts of Indiana. So some locations could see maybe an isolated storm or two making its way into the area this morning. The better chance will be for when this cold front actually drops through later on this afternoon, and that is why the Storm Prediction Center has a good chunk of the northern half of the state under the slight risk for severe weather. Here's the timeline. Again, it's really going to be closer to sunset, which is 8 o'clock this time of year. At least that's the timing of the front. Sunset's officially not until 8:11 this evening, but most of the activity should hold off until after sunset as it moves through. So don't be shocked if overnight tonight you hear a rumble of thunder across the area, and there could be an isolated warning, but just given the timing of that front coming through tonight rather than during the daytime hours with the peak heating, I think we're going to be in decent shape, at least compared to if that front was arriving at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow, new air masses in place, lots of sunshine, high temperatures will be in the 70s, and that'll be a common theme for the rest of the week. Mostly sunny skies all the way into the weekend with highs in the 70s and lows very comfortable, Lauren, in the mid-50s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. so much. The good news for your Tuesday morning drive is no crashes around the metro area. Take a look here at central Indiana. Everything on your interstates is green, and that is good news. If you're heading in from the airport to the downtown area from Ronald Reagan Parkway to I-65, it's just a 12-minute commute traveling eastbound on I-70. And then over here on the opposite side of town, traveling westbound on I-70, trying to get to the north split from Post Road. It's a 10-minute drive, so no issues there. Let's take a live look right now up here in the Whitestown area, I-65 here near State Road 334. You can see traffic is traveling smoothly. If you're in the northwest side trying to head into downtown this morning, you shouldn't have any issues. Of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye on those roads and keep you updated this morning. Well, are you a fan of these shoes? After the break, why experts say this growing trend isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
And there's a push to make Indianapolis more bike-friendly. Download the RTV6 app right now to read more about NeighborWays and how they aim to connect the city. We'll be right back.
Attorneys for injured people.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 5:54 on your Tuesday. And here's a live look at your commute on the southeast side, I-465 and Arlington Avenue. Everything here is traveling just fine.
A lot of people are talking about this new fashion trend, shoes where the big toe sticks out. Or if it's closed toe, there's a split that lets the big toe breathe. Actor Cody Fern wore these at last year's Golden Globes, and since then it's taken off with designers creating more big toe options for women. Flats, sandals, even boots. While they've been around for a relatively short time, this actually originated in Japanese culture many years ago, according to our fashion expert.
It was called the Jiki Tabu shoe. The Japanese wore this really in the last century. It was really a man's shoe where your toe really stood out. And that really was for comfort and sustainability.
Love it or leave it. I'm going to leave it. Bernstein expects this trend to be around for a while. Some people say it's more comfortable than your regular toe cramming shoes. Maybe you just need to buy a better size. I don't have that issue.
I feel like that looks uncomfortable.
It's ugly in my opinion.
That too. Well, a circus truck billed the vehicle as the largest ever work created by Banksy could raise some serious cash. The renowned graffiti artist covered the truck with his paintings. According to Bonhams, Banksy spent more than 2 weeks working on it, starting during a New Year's Eve party in 1999. It traveled through Europe and South America with Turbozone International Circus. This month it hits the auction block. Bonham says the mobile artwork could fetch up to $1.8 million. It goes on sale on September 14th.
I think I would rather have just a framed piece of art by him than a whole truck. Yeah, or $1 million. That too. But,
all right, we do want to bring in Todd Clausen right now and talk about our forecast. How's the visibility looking out there, Todd?
You know, it's not bad in the metro area and points to the north. Southern locations here this morning, though, you're dealing with visibility down below 1 mile, really from Greensburg over towards Columbus and then into the Bloomington airport area, about 0.75. So that reading in Bloomington comes from the airport, but it looks like most of Monroe County there in that darker shade of gray. But any fog will burn off here this morning. We'll be left with mostly sunny skies throughout a good portion of the day today as our high temperature gets up to 85 degrees. It's the warmest day we have in your forecast, at least for the next 7. And as far as some storms go, there will be some that arrive late. The daytime hours should be mainly dry, but from sunset into the overnight hours, be on the lookout for a few isolated storms.
Todd, thank you. The search for a missing 10-year-old girl from Gas City continues this morning. Ahead at 6 o'clock, how the community is working together to find her.